And a new fare structure has come into force on buses in Glasgow. In some cases, ticket prices have gone up 17% as companies respond to the loss of financial support, which was introduced in response to COVID-19. Our reporter Cameron Angus Mackay has more.
Well, bus companies were receiving the Network Support Grant Plus during COVID times. The package supported them whilst passenger numbers were down and then recovering as restrictions eased. This money stopped at the end of March and several companies are raising fares in response. In Glasgow, a new fare structure has been introduced by providers. Bus companies say that passenger numbers haven't recovered to pre-COVID numbers and that costs have gone up by 25%. So they have no choice but to raise fares now, and the grant has gone. Well, earlier I spoke to people in the bus station about the impact of this.
Well, I went on the bus this morning and the fares went up this morning, but I don't believe they've got much choice in the matter with the cost of living and stuff, so it's a bit harsh, but there's not much they can take because everything else is going up: shopping, electricity, gas, the lot, so they're in the same boat as everybody else.
I just think it's a bit of a joke because obviously there's people struggling as it is because of the cost of living crisis, but I can see it from like the bus company point of view as well, because obviously prices are going up, so they need to put the prices up in order to run their services. So for younger people it is a bit harder for them, but in the long run it is what they had to do.
Well, the service isn't great. Lots of cancellations, and then when you do get on them, they're packed, which isn't good for COVID, especially with the rise in rates. But yeah, the prices for the service, not worth it.
Well, Ellie Harrison is a transport activist with Get Glasgow Moving. Ellie, rising fares, what does that actually mean in reality for tickets on offer for travellers in Glasgow?
Oh, it's a nightmare for travellers in Glasgow. I mean, we're in the middle of a cost of living crisis, and this is just going to add more and more stress and pain onto people who are just trying to travel around the city to get to work or college or wherever they need to go. So this is a disaster. We're going in completely the wrong direction. We want to get more people using public transport to address the climate emergency. So we need to be cutting fares. So what the operators are doing here in Glasgow is a disgrace, and we've got some of the most expensive fares in the whole of the UK, in Glasgow and across Scotland. And just to compare to a fare now on First Glasgow, which is the biggest operator in the city, is £2.85. If you compare that to London, where buses are regulated by Transport for London, it's £1.75. And with that fare, you can hop on as many buses as you need to within an hour. So we're being completely ripped off here in Glasgow. And it's because of a complete lack of regulation over the bus providers.
Well, I mean, the Network Support Grant Plus, which helped companies during COVID, came to an end in March. In October 2022, the Confederation of Passenger Transport Scotland warned that the loss of support would mean many services would become commercially unviable and that fares would rise in response. So, I mean, this is not a surprise that it's happened.
It's not a surprise, but what that quote from the Confederation for Passenger Transport, which is basically just a lobby group for the private operators, shows is that the way we run buses in Scotland is it's a ridiculous system, and it means that we're giving huge amounts of public subsidy, more than £300 million a year, to private operators without regulating them to say these are the services we want you to run and this is how much you're allowed to charge. So for the last few months, the private operators have been trying to hold the government to ransom, threatening to raise fares, threatening to cut routes unless they kept this additional subsidy going. And it's completely mad. If we're putting in that much public subsidy into our bus services, let's plan and coordinate them so that they actually meet our community's needs and that we're not getting ripped off as passengers and that we're encouraging more people to use public transport. There's nothing to stop us running bus services in public ownership. New powers in the Transport Act are available for bodies like SPT, which is a public body, to start its own new public operator and start providing services that communities need at a fair price.
Thank you, Ellie Harrison, transport activist with Get Glasgow Moving. The Scottish Government said it was facing an extremely challenging financial landscape, and a Transport Scotland spokesman said it had provided up to £210 million in emergency funding to support bus services during the pandemic. They go on to say, we've been clear that the support provided to transport operators needs to evolve to ensure it remains fit for purpose and is sustainable in the long term.
That report from Cameron Angus Mackay.